athletes, and more express how they've overcome trials and tribulations to make it where they are today. Be inspired. Good evening. Good evening.
Hey,
Welcome. This is the Tyese Show. And here we are this evening with my next guest. This is the second episode of the Tyese Show, one of many that we are going to have. We are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube, and great news. Soon we're also going to be broadcasted on live radio, WMEG radio. So, yes, so happy about that. We're going to be out there all over the place, and then I'm considering doing Spotify as well. Okay. Make sure the Tyese Show is all over. Oh, and we're also going to be broadcasting in some uh, businesses that are local, like let me see, broadcasting. The main one, the one that I'm really excited about is that, well, we'll be broadcasting in a barbershop, hopefully a couple of barbershops. So yeah, it's going to get impressive. But here we go, getting started. We had a little bit of technical difficulties tonight, but we are on, okay? And hopefully the audience is there with us. My name is Tyese. I am your host, your hostess of the Tyese Show. The tagline for the show is what we do for therapy. And each week I interview guests that are entrepreneurs. They can be artists, and they come on to tell how their journey has been therapeutic for them. So we've married the two. Okay. Mental health is what I do full time. And I have been able to come up with a way to combine the two. So it's very important to me, especially because I've performed in the past. I actually used to host open mics, but it's very important to me that entrepreneurs are able to really do their thing because they have been able to maybe overcome types of triumphs, like for and trials and tribulations, and they've overcome some things. So, like for instance, maybe they had self-esteem issues, maybe they had confidence issues. um, there are people who are actually have a fear of success, and some have a fear of failure. So the show is here so that we are able to help entrepreneurs by encouraging them through bringing on someone who's able to talk about their journey, motivate, encourage, inspire. My guest this evening is a poet and a hip hop artist. I'm so happy to have him on. And he's a personal friend of mine. And he goes by the name of Jay Swan.
hey, how y'all feeling today? Hey, Thais.
Hey, it's good to see you. Glad to
How you
have you
been?
on the Tyese Show.
How have you been? Thank you for having me on here.
Oh, you are so welcome. I've been busy, but I've been great. You know how that is.
Yeah, I definitely know how that is.
Yeah, a lot going on. I'm so glad to be back in full force with the Tyese Show. I did the show previously in the past, and took a bit of a sabbatical, but I am back. And now, for the audience that may not have been watching before, but hopefully watching now, the Jay Swan was actually on the show previously.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, it was like a
And
couple years ago.
Yes, exactly. It was on the show previously. So now we can call this episode kind of a where you are now.
Yeah,
Because I'm
yeah,
sure
it's
you
kind of
have some more accomplishments under your belt.
absolutely, yeah. Look at you, standing in my J Swan history. Look at you. You've been a fan ever since I first met you back in what
2020,
2019. We've known each other like 2019.
20, yep, 2020, 19 into 2020. Yeah, so right around that time, maybe very beginning of the year 2020.
Yeah, and I met you at the poetry party.
Exactly. And well, actually at Noir.
Yeah, and Noel off of what is it?
Mm-hmm.
Off of
Northern
York Road.
Parkway.
It was off of York Road.
Northern Euro. Okay.
It was
Okay.
York
Well,
Road and Northern Parkway because that's
okay.
where the poetry party first started when Keisha
Yes.
Lynn and that's was starting over there.
Yes. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so we have history.
Yep, we do. We do. It's been a couple of years. And so that's how
Hmm.
we met on the open mic scene.
The open mic scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
Yep. Jumping
you
around doing
was reading
open
from your
mics.
book. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, we
yeah.
have history. Yeah,
Yeah, because some folks do not know that I'm also a poet.
and they
Hmm.
should know it.
Yep, they need to
They should
know it.
know that.
Know
They
it.
should know
That's
Thais
right.
is the poet, ladies and gentlemen. And I have one of her books.
Yes, you know what? I want to say you definitely bought one of the first copies. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, it was like the black and I think it was like a black and purple cover with the ponytail on there too. The same one that you got on right now. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so. I
pretty
think
much.
so.
Pretty
I
much,
got it.
it was a little fancier because I had the little what I call little drizzles, little drizzle curls. I had some of that going on.
Okay. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's get into it. How many years have you been a poet?
Let's see. Ooh, since I was what 13 years old. Dang. So
Okay.
let's see, 13. That's 20 years. 20 years. I've been a poet for 20 years.
You know what? You,
Yeah,
you
since
sounded
13 years
you
old.
sounded old when
20
you just
years.
said that.
20
You were
years.
nowhere near old. Wow, it's been that long. It's been that long.
It's
Do
been
you
that long.
remember how you started writing?
Oh, I remember it was, let's see, this was around, let's see, when like Jay-Z and 50 Cent were like the biggest rappers in the world, right? And I wanted to like write stuff like, about girls, let's say talking like, not like smack on records, just the right to talk about, 13-year-old stuff. You know what I'm saying? As a kid, you are.
Mhm, mhm,
And I remember the first time I recorded, like back in the day when I used to record my songs, I used to have a tape player right here to record, and I would have like a CD player where I would have the instrumentals, and I would just play the beats, and I would just go over the raps or whatever. And sometimes I would freestyle, right? And they were
mhm.
bad. My stuff was bad. Like as a beginner, I'm glad I cannot find those tapes. I'm so glad. but but then like let's see, when I was let's say maybe 14 and 15, I was getting better at it, and then
Mhm,
I was recording, let's see, on the internet. Well, not on the internet. I was using like I forgot what it was called. I think it was like WavePad. It was like something that you download where you could just record like yourself. Oh, it's kind of like a voice memo, and then I was still
right.
using like instrumentals to, record myself. Like,
Mhm.
use the beats to record myself. And my brother finally said, like, I don't sound like a robot. But my rhymes were not really that good. Like, I was like, the delivery was not there. So, like, I had my trials and tribulations as well. And then, like, over time, I was getting better. Like, I got, like, let's see, at a professional level, what I say professional level, but I was getting there like, around like, let's see, 17 and 18. Around that time, I was like, okay, people were paying attention to me now. Like saying like, yo, it took a lot of practice, but look, you gotta put like 10,000 hours of practice to, like, where you need to go. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
Uh-huh. So like you gotta practice on your craft and not get lazy.
Oh, oh, definitely. You definitely have to hone your craft. Now, you said so people started to know that you were rapping at around 18. So how did you kind of get that out there? How did people really start to know what you were doing?
Well, my first time I ever went to the studio, I recorded, let's see, it was at when I was 16 years old. My brother Diesel, it was like a studio session down in I think it was out Laurel. It was a studio session over there.
Mhm.
I remember I couldn't get one lick out, right? The studio session was pretty bad. But when I turned like 18, Shamar, a good friend of mine, we used to go to record at the spot called it was Killjoy Studio in Randallstown, right?
Mhm.
And like I remember going over, let's say, a 32 verse. If you don't know what bars are, that's like, your lines or whatever. And
I'm gonna fight you.
I was starting to record there. Huh?
I'm gonna fight you. Talking about
What's
if you
up?
don't know what bars are.
Yeah, but yeah, of course you know what bars are. You know what bars are. Don't do me like that. I was just making sure. All right, you know for sure. But but I started to record there, and then I was like, okay, I could just perform this like in the professional level, like I said, performing in front of people because I used to be scared, right? But I remember my first performance was like at a barbershop, and like we would do these ciphers when you like
Okay.
trading balls with other MCs. And like
Mhm.
me and Shamar were like the only ones were like, yeah, y'all don't want to battle the two dudes over here. Y'all just want to keep y'all 16s and like not say anything. Because we were like crushing that cipher. We was
Okay. So
crushing
you
it.
definitely
And
okay. So
after
by then
that,
you definitely were getting better.
yeah, I was getting better. And then I
Mhm.
remember I performed at Walbrook Junction. You know what's crazy? It was the barbershop at it was a barbershop at Walbrook Junction, and then I was performing like maybe a few months later at the high school.
Oh, okay.
Performing in the front of a crowd, right? And
Mhm.
like I didn't really have that much of like, body movement. I was just standing at that one spot. And I thought, yo, I'm gonna kill this. I'm gonna kill it, kill it, kill it. And like people were like, okay, he's rapping, but you know, it was kind of like one of those performances. Like as a beginner, now things change.
Mhm.
Things have completely changed.
Mhm. And
Yeah,
how have you gotten better?
going to poetry, going to different open mics, going to different open mics. I'm gonna tell you, like when you perform right in front of, let's see, 100 people, 300 people, 500 people, thousands of people, like that's where you get comfortable in your own skin if you do that multiple times.
Mhm.
You do that multiple times. Like I let's see, I remember we did a I don't know if you remember this, like a couple years ago. No, yeah, like 3 years ago. Remember we did that poetry slam out in DC, or was it PG
Yes,
County? Do you remember that?
yes, definitely.
Yeah, I was kind of
Hmm.
skeptical about that, and the lady was like, "Yo, you got to give it a try." All right, I gave it a try, and I was like, "Yo, this is really, really something that I love to do, like being on stage, like doing like slams, and like when you do like raps or like spoken word poetry, or wait, can you still hear me?
I can still hear you. You froze, but I can still
Okay,
hear
yeah,
you.
I was like,
Yeah, everybody can still hear you.
okay, it was like maybe like it seemed like it was like a bad connection, but all right, getting in front of people, like showing them your gifts or like your talents, and like you're using like the right enunciation, you're not stuttering, you're like being expressive. It's like one of the coolest feels, honestly. And I've been doing this for like so many years. So I just
Hmm.
love being on stage in front of the crowd. I've always been like that since I was a kid for some reason. I don't know why, but like, hey,
Were you one of them kids, one of those kids that the family used to make dance and or sing or rap in front of them? The older folks used to be like, "Well, what's the latest dance
uh,
today?" Was you one of those kids?
nah, yeah, my mom. I remember my mom had me singing. Let's see, when I was like 9 years old, "Who Is It" by Michael Jackson, right in front of my brothers, and like in front of people. This
That
you don't remember the song "Who Is It" by Michael Jackson off of Dangerous? And it doesn't even matter, and it doesn't seem right. The inner function and the crying and all the night. Don't you flush on my
don't remember the
composure, cause
words.
I'm lying to myself. And the reason why she left me, my favorite Michael Jackson song of all time.
What?
She had me singing a song. Like that was like one of my favorite songs.
Oh my
Yep.
goodness. Mm, mm, mm.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still get nervous? I mean, of course you've gotten, better and better over the years. And now, oh my goodness, you're like what? You've been performing since you were like 18 and but you started writing at 13. Do you still get nervous when you go on stage?
Um. Sometimes I'll be like, "Dag, I'm analyzing the crowd. I don't know what piece should I perform. Like, should I do a love piece, or a street piece, or a anime piece, or whatever piece?"
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
but I just have to control myself and think about, look, remind yourself of who you are and why you do these things, and they make you great. See what I'm saying? You should never second guess of what you bring to the table at all. So like, just make a quick reminder, right? And I remember Keisha Lioness was saying like, I remember her saying this, right? She said like, "This is just practice. This is just practice," right? And I was like, you know what? You right. You right.
Mm-hmm. Every
And also practicing in the mirror also helps.
practicing in the mirror, yes. I've
It
always
does.
heard that.
It gives you self confidence. It gives you self confidence.
Now, ironically, when I was practicing, I never really used to practice in front of the mirror. I would record my poems on the phone. I would record myself
Uh huh.
and then play that back. And I would play that back
Yeah.
like when I was in the car, like say I'm driving somewhere and I play it back. And in my mind, I would think to myself, if someone heard this, say for instance, on the radio, would it make them really stop? and listen and pay attention. And that's how, and then I, of course,
Mm.
I mean, of course, continuing to recite it and say your poem, over and over again, to yourself, because, and I always say that my memory is not that great. I really should not continue to say that, because the way that the mind works, it's going to be what you say it is. So I need to stop saying that I have
Mm-hmm.
bad memory, but that's how I would practice. I would read it and say it the way I thought it should be delivered in the phone, and then replay it
Mm-hmm.
back. Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. So
Yeah.
do
So you
you like
put your book in the
record,
mirror.
let's see,
Mm.
how many voice memos onto your phone?
Say that one more time now.
So I was asking, like, do you record many voice memos on your phone?
I did. Mhm.
Like, yeah, okay. Like, let's see, would you say, like, let's see, would you practice, let's see, how many times, let's see, 17 times, 20 times in a row?
Probably, probably, at least that, because
That's a
to
good
this
number.
day, I mean, you've performed a lot more than I do. I like to write. I like to write. Getting up in front of
Uh,
the audience, to me, is scarier. Like writing, I know that I do well at
yeah.
writing. I know I excel at writing. The performing, I've been
Uh-huh.
told that I'm good, but I get so nervous. So I would practice.
Yeah.
I would practice so much so that when I get in front of the crowd, I wouldn't, hopefully wouldn't forget. Well, not really forget, because your stuff. I mean, you know your work, but because of
Yeah.
out of being nervous, you get like that hesitation. It's like the next line, but you get that hesitation, because just from being nervous. And I would never really when I first started, I wouldn't really look at the crowd. Like I would look over
Mm-hmm.
them, like they're sitting down. I'm up there, Mike. It
Right.
might be a little stage, little platform where I was. I performed at several places, many places, especially in town. Um, and but I would not initially. I would not look at at the people. I would look like past everybody in the back of the room, and I
Yeah.
noticed that when I got out of that, and I really started to try looking at people when I was talking, I noticed that the snaps and the claps were coming more, because people would
Uh-huh.
feel me, kind of like I almost like I was talking to just them. So so
Yeah.
for a few seconds, I might look at you. I might, and then in the next line or two in the poem, I might look at somebody a couple of feet away from you, or someone towards the back, someone right on the front row, and so I would switch it up, and that's when I knew I was getting into the flow and getting better.
See, because you're looking into the crowd.
Right.
You're
So,
still looking into the crowd.
what are
Right.
some ways that you have been able to gauge your progress?
All right. What I've learned over the years, like being on stage, never look down. Never look down, because people will see that you're scared, and that will kind of throw them off. You want to make sure what you're saying is conversational. You want to, like, make sure, like, I'm looking towards you, and like have that boldness and be very valorous, and look towards that crowd and be like, hey, my voice chakra is ready. My voice chakra is
Mhm.
ready to give you these bars, give you, like, what I'm about to say, whatever it's a rap, whether it's a spoken word, whether it's a slam, whatever. You just have to, remind yourself, like I said, it's all about having like that self confidence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You have to
Yeah.
look, and when you're performing, you have to look confident even if you're not. And people don't know what you're feeling on the inside. People don't know how nervous you are.
Right.
But if you go up there like you own it, like it's like
Yeah.
this is
Into
your platform for the next however many minutes they give you 5 minutes, they give you 7 minutes, because because you and I have been out, gone different places and performed. We know, they give you a time limit. You're a poet, if you're rapping, you're a comedian, you know what I mean?
yeah, like
You got to
five
get up
minutes,
there and you got to do
6 minutes.
your thing and not really
Yeah.
go over your time as how it's supposed to
Right.
go. But you should go up there regardless of how you are feeling on the inside, like you're going to pull the crowd into you.
You're right. Cause
Like
like
this is my work,
you
this is my
I don't
piece.
cause like huh?
Like this is my work, my piece, and I'm telling the story. Whether it's poetry or whether it's, you know, rapping, music, you wrote that, so you pull the
Yeah.
audience. You pull the audience and looking, like, what, like we were saying a minute ago, looking into their eyes, looking into their faces, bouncing around from here to there, with your eyes. And even if you move, just a little bit, you are taking control.
Yeah, you gotta it's kinda like I said, make the spoken word or whatever the poem it might be or rap conversational. And I feel like that's where uh people are at their best. Like you see a guy like Biggie Smalls, he will be a great spoken word artist. He all his raps are conversational. Like the
Hmm.
best rappers in my opinion have the conversation raps like Jay-Z, Nas, Eminem, Tupac, uh who else? Did I guys like Skyzoo, Lupe Fiasco, like Observant and Common, like Andre 3000. They're all conversational rappers. I could
Hmm.
definitely see these guys do like spoken word, and that's why I learned from like guys like them, like even a guy like Kanye West before he went crazy. He used to go to let's see spoken word poetry to get better at his craft.
Hmm.
Like he used to do that. Yeah, he like around like the college dropout days. He used to go to spoken words like deaf poetry. I think it's deaf poetry. Jam. He used to go there all the time, like performing his raps, and like
Hmm.
that's how he got better over time.
Yeah, you're
Hmm.
absolutely right. And that's funny that you mentioned that, because as you were talking, that's exactly what I thought about. When you mentioned Common, I've seen Common perform on Deaf Poetry Jam. Hmm.
I was talking about. I was Common and like Kanye West. I also mentioned
Hmm.
Kanye West as well.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. And hmm, I saw Jill Scott perform there, and
Uh huh.
also Lauryn Hill.
Yeah. L
So
Boogie.
we right, yeah, and we really are talking about some of the top artists, um, alive or not, but we talking about some of the top artists that there has been. Like I'm a true I believe in the lyricism of it all. It's
Yeah.
absolutely wonderful. The and good music behind it, of course, right? because that's what people are going to hear first. That's
Yeah.
what people are really going to feel first. Sometimes people take a while to really even sit and listen to the lyrics. But because I'm a poet and I like to write, I'm listening to the lyrics. So like some of those that you mentioned, Jay-Z, definitely one of my favorites. Eminem, absolutely. Common, yes. Biggie. And I noticed you got a picture of Biggie back there
Yeah,
on your
that's
wall.
right. His birthday was the other day too. I think his birthday was like 2 days ago.
Okay, okay. You know
Yeah,
whose birthday
R.I.P. to
is?
Biggie. But like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
huh?
You know whose birthday was close to mine? It is close to mine. Singer. Mine is May the 18th.
Janet.
Janet Jackson. May the 16th.
I said Janet. Yeah, Janet.
And she is
Yep.
absolutely one of my all-time favorites. And Janet comes, I do not miss a Janet Jackson show if I can help it. The only time I've missed so far a Janet Jackson show, I had to give away my tickets because I was deployed out of the
You.
country,
Oh.
and I had to and I had to give away my tickets. Hmm. Yeah, but
Oh
that was the
wow.
only time
That
I missed
sucks.
Janet Jackson. And one reason why is because that she's one of my favorite artists is because of the words to the songs, of course, the lyrics, the music, but to see her in person,
Yeah.
oh, that's just a treat. It's just a
Yeah.
treat.
Yeah.
Like
She been performing
if
since
I'm
she was a
going,
little girl.
huh? Say again, honey.
She been performing since she was a little girl.
Oh yes, teenager, right? You know, um, and but seeing her in person is definitely. I mean, it is a it's a beautiful thing. It's a sight to behold because it's theatrical.
Yeah.
There's so much that goes, and there's so much that goes into the show. And if you think of it from that
Mm-hmm.
perspective, the money for the tickets is nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing. And her tickets
Mm-hmm.
are not even nearly as expensive as some of the others. Like for instance, I've paid like 100, just over. I've paid under $100 to see Janet Jackson. I've paid just over $100 to see Janet Jackson. But when I went to look at say Bruno Mars tickets, oh, Nosebleed
Yeah.
was running 400 something dollars. I said, oh no, I'm not going to be sitting up there adjusting lights. I'm not helping with the show.
Yeah. He gonna. Yeah. He gonna be. You're gonna be seeing Bruno Mars as like an ant.
Oh, so we've heard some of your favorite rappers, how you got started, some things that you did to get better and to really hone your craft. What is some advice that you would give to some of the up and coming artists?
All right. I would give advice as far as like study the greats, of course, in order to be great. Like you got to remind yourself that you are great. Like even when you first started off as a rapper, don't believe that you suck, because if you believe that you suck, you will suck. But if you believe that you are one of the best, believe that you are one of the best, if not the best, because whether you are a poet, whether you are a rapper, like what you got right, what you writing down, or like or whatever, and you're performing that, it's like, yo, you're using your energy to write something very, 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 very good. So keep reminding yourself that you are great. Study the business as far as like if you're trying to get into the industry, study the music industry. Like look at YouTube videos for like rappers, what to do, what not to do. Like looking at record contracts. Don't sign a certain record deal or whatever, right? Like study.
Mm,
Like I said,
mm,
really look up, because you know this. artists still today that's still getting not paid from like in the 90s, and they've been
Hmm.
signed for how many years? Uh-huh. And being independent is very beautiful. I've been an independent artist since I was like I said, 18, and I put out numerous singles, numerous albums, and I'm working on my fourth album. Actually, I'm working on two albums this year: a spoken word album and a follow up for Black Swan. It's called Black Swan 2, the therapeutic session.
Oh, well, wait a
So,
minute now. It sounds like you're speaking my language now.
yeah, therapeutic session. And
All right
this is
now.
the therapy show, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The tagline here for the Tyese Show is what we do for therapy. How would you say your
Mm-hmm.
your journey has been therapeutic for you?
True, man. Just writing, getting these ideas, putting them onto my phone, like
Mm-hmm.
onto my notes, just letting out all these ideas, memorizing them, coming up with rhyme schemes, double entendres, or what I see in Baltimore or Philadelphia or um, let's see, somewhere outside of the country, and I'm just looking, and I'm just typing it. Then I'm expressing myself, and I love when I come up with these lines. Like I feel like it makes me like a better. It makes me wiser. It makes me wiser as a
Mm-hmm.
lyricist. Like just talking, just
Mm-hmm.
talking my um talking my ish for real. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and listening to like my old stuff, and like from 2008 when I started to record music professionally to now, I'm a totally different guy. Like, I'm not that same kid that used to be scared, shaking, like in the studio. Nah, I'm a totally different guy, totally different man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now
Yeah,
you said Black Swan 2 is more therapeutic. Elaborate on that.
that is the therapeutic session. Like, I got a song called Therapeutic Session.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Okay.
I can share the lyrics. It's like basically me describing like, hey man, or young lady, you are wasting your time on the internet. Get off of social media. Have a good time. Like, don't try to fantasize and um living in the fantasy world, right? Thinking, oh, let me get on Instagram or Facebook. Like, this is reality. This is not reality. When you go out with your friends, having a good time,
Mhm.
relaxing, shaking your thing on the dance floor, that's reality, right? You want to bring you my song, Therapeutic Session, will take you to another place. Like, you're going to have fun. Like, you're not going to be thinking about your job. You're not going to be thinking about, oh man, I gotta pay this tax deadline or whatever. Like paying bills or anything like grown adult stuff. Like,
Right.
I'm trying to bring you to like my world, and like, hey, life is too short. You gotta have fun. You gotta have fun, right? Don't take
Mm-hmm.
life so serious. Don't take life
Mm-hmm.
so serious. Uh huh. You gotta have fun.
Okay. Don't take. I like that. Don't
Mm-hmm.
take life so serious. You got to have fun. Yeah, and we talk about uh, not having confidence, self esteem, not comparing ourselves to others. When you're talking about social media can definitely look like what it is not. Exactly. If you compare yourself to others, you're going to be in trouble. Looking at social media, you never know if people are in person the way they look to be on
Right.
social media. You know, you don't want to compare your life and the fact that you are going through some trials and tribulations to what you see on, you know, on
Yeah.
somebody else's social media, because most of us, I mean, we're only going to post the best times. You know, we might post when something, you know, that's hurtful or negative is going on, but more than likely not, you know.
Yeah.
So,
So like, yeah, like it's all a fantasy. It's like the Matrix. It's the Matrix. Like, you don't want to get caught up in the wrong game, thinking like, hey, this is real. Like, a lot of you see a lot of bots, a lot of people paying for stuff, like a lot of false prophets on social media, right? And
mm,
I feel like when I get into this album, right, I'm gonna be talking a whole bunch of a lot of stuff about, I remember where it was at a time where you didn't have to worry, like it was a timeline that you didn't have to worry about a timeline. See what I mean? Like you don't have to
mhm,
worry about
mhm,
that. You and your friends were like you had y'all bikes outside playing with like super soakers. Now you go on a app and it's a soap opera, pretty much. That's all it
mm,
is.
mhm.
Talking about
Right.
drama all day. And people forgetting like the meaning of life. Because social media, I'm not saying I use social media for business and it's a good way to use your business. However, when you use it in a wrong way, like trying to make it seem like this is real life, that's wrong to me. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm,
that's given like, you know, when you trying to make it seem like it's an everyday thing, it's not an everyday thing. You gotta take a break. You gotta take breaks. Explore life.
mhm. Right.
Like go outside of the country. Go to a movie. Like do something.
Right.
See what I mean? Like you don't want to get all crazy stuff. You don't want to like go super crazy for real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
You have to absolutely take care of yourself. And do you feel like you are in most of your lyrics? Like, are you really writing about things that you've been through?
Absolutely. Like I rap about what I see on an everyday basis. Like if I see someone like in a fight, I'm gonna rap about it. If I see an extra bill and like one of the envelopes of my mail, I'm gonna rap about it. Like if I see someone getting shot, I'm gonna rap about it. If I see like someone getting killed or getting harassed by the police, I'm gonna rap about it. Like you know what? I'm more like an author. I'm an author. Like I'm a guy who is gonna talk about what goes on in Baltimore City, Baltimore County, whether it's Randallstown, whether it's Park Heights, whether it's Cherry Hill, whether it's um, Dundalk, whether it's Carroll County, like or like over east, everywhere. Like what I see is what I see.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not a guy that's gonna rap about um I got like 22 guns in my car. Like that's not me. Like that'll be super corny. I don't rap about guns. I'll rap about if I see someone having like guns. Like I'm like, oh wow, he's trying to like do whatever. Like that's none of my business. But like I rap what I see. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like it's like that everyday life, pretty much.
Okay. And when I was younger, and it's going to sound like I'm old now, but you always hear this. I feel like when I was younger, the music was so much better. It was so much better. It wasn't a
Mm.
lot of nonsense. It wasn't a lot of violence. It had meaning, most of it. We had music that was just like party music, but then you had
Uh-huh.
your hip hop artists and hip hop groups that were really talking about things that mattered. I mean, like they brought knowledge and science to it. And like for instance, I used to like Scott LaRock. I mean,
Out the rocking BDP.
yeah, he's like
AFM.
Boogie Down Productions. I mean, we fell in love with groups like that. The first group that I remember, okay, and I had to be maybe 11 or so when they came out, was the
Uh-huh.
Sugar Hill Gang.
Sugar
The-
Hill Gang.
yeah.
The hit, the hippie to the hippie to the hit. Yeah,
Oh
I
yes,
know
I'm
some
really
of
showing
the
my
gang
age.
from Boogie the but the boogie with the bacon of the boogie the beat. That was only like 5 years ago. Come on. Yeah.
Really showing my age now. I don't care, it. And to first hear that, it was just like what is that? I mean, it was amazing. It was amazing. It was a new sound, okay? And not long ago, we just celebrated 50 years of hip hop,
Just last year.
just last year. Exactly. And but nowadays, I just it can be easy to say because I'm older,
Yeah.
but I don't care what anybody says. This music today, some of it you can't even qualify as music.
Um. Well, I'll say this right. Everybody has their own personal taste, right? Um. I may listen to Nas one day. Me personally, I may listen to Nas one day, but within the next maybe 3 minutes after I listen to like Nas or like Common, I might listen to Ice Spice or Megan Thee Stallion. Like
Okay.
me personally, or like Little Uzi Vert. Like I like hearing new sounds. Like me as an
Mhm.
artist,
Mhm.
like I could listen to Tupac. I could listen to a guy like people from the old school like Big Daddy Kane, LL Cool J, but I embrace like the new artists. Like I'm not gonna lie, I like Sexy Red's music. I think some of her stuff is entertaining. You probably
Mhm.
don't even know who Sexy Red is, but like,
Mm-mm.
oh,
No,
you
I
know who she
actually,
is.
no, I've heard the name. No, honestly, I have heard the name, but I have not listened to Sexy Red stuff.
Okay, it's in my opinion, is entertaining. Like I could listen to like
Okay.
the old school and the new school and blend and learn from the old school and learn from the new school. I'm like, oh, like one of my favorite female rappers is Doja Cat. I think she has
Okay.
bars.
Okay.
Like she may do some things like maybe some antics, but I'm like, I'm listening to her bars. I'm like, surely can rap. And like she's kind of inspirational as well, like being a free spirit artist, which I'm also as well. And I do have a song called Free Spirit off my album Black Swan. Go check it out. But like being a free spirit artist, like just talk about whatever's on your mind.
Mhm.
Like that's what the beauty of music is. You can have disagreements. Like you may not like this artist, you may like this artist. However, it's all, let's say, a perception at the end of the day. Like it's no ill will, it's no ill feelings or anything. It's no everybody's had their own like respectable opinions. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's nothing personal. Right, right, right. I like old school, new school, middle school, whatever school. Like, hey, I'm open to listen to any music. But if I tell you something that's whack, I'll tell you something that's whack. I'll be like,
Okay.
yeah, nah, I'm not feeling it. So
Right.
I embrace the new school.
Do you pull inspiration from other types of music?
Yes, I
R&B,
do.
country,
I
gospel.
uh I wouldn't mind listening to a country record. I'm not gonna lie. I don't listen to country like that, but I did listen to Beyonce's Cowboy Cowboy Carter album. I thought that was very good. Uh, but I would like listen to different artists from like different genres, like Michael, Prince, um, Marvin Gaye. I'm more of an R&B guy than a hip hop guy, surprisingly. Just in like giving you a heads up. That's how I get like a lot of my ideas from, like, spoken word,
Mhm.
or whether it's like a
Mhm.
rap song or whatever. Trying to get into that. However, like yeah, uh, R&B. Like I have a playlist on my title. Like I was just listening to Mary, or like Jill Scott, or Erica Badu, or like Destiny's
Yes.
Child back in '97, or John B,
Mhm. Mhm.
or like yeah, like LMA. Let's see, Leanne LaHavas. Like she's a really a dope singer. Like I listen to a whole bunch of R&B more than hip hop, and I wouldn't mind listening to
Okay.
rock and roll
Okay.
either. Uh huh.
All right. So before you go,
Uh
you
huh.
gotta spit something. You gotta spit something. I was not gonna let you leave without giving us a little something.
Let's see. You want to hear spoken word or
That's the spoken word.
a spoken word? All right. This is called "Life is Just a Video Game." You don't have a memory card, but you have memories carded in your brain. When you pause, you do have options, but you can't reset or start over. You take your one life away, can't get it back. You'll get sidetracked with different distractions on the Fortnite quest. The resonance can be evil with blood-sucking zombies, monsters, outbreaks in the city near you. Every day you have to be a street fighter, so you read you and can beat those circumstances. But the Sagat dudes will hit you with a tiger shot, and it's a real sonic boom, being guileless, and your mother won't even get a chance to say to a child, "Bison." Walking at that door, you'll have a few detours. Those pocket monsters are ready to attack. Once they have a peek at you, they will chew you up, burn you alive, just like a Charizard. Have to play your cards, or you'll be in solitary confinement. Seeing dudes can be treacherous on these Tetris blocks. The Pac-Man chases until one is a ghost, running in the maze. The gorillas are waiting. Donkey Kong and his crew are ready to peel with their banana clips. When stepping into the jungle, the humble do not survive. Pray they don't Grand Theft Auto, or these dudes will steal your ride. And that's all I'll
Mm.
give you.
All right now, snap, snap, snaps.
Snap, snap, snaps. Thank you, thank you, thank
I
you, thank
love it.
you.
I love it. I love it. Well, I always like this to hear you perform anyhow. And because of that, because the lyrics, it's a love of the etymology of it, the words, it's word porn, it's putting it all together.
Etymology. Hey, I
And
like
it's
that word.
yes.
Hey,
You can tell that you study your craft, you really can. It's not a
yeah.
bunch of nonsense, and it'll mean different things to different people, but you could tell that you actually sit and took the time to study. You can tell that you pull from old school artists, new school artists. You can really hear that. You can hear that, and I love that about you. um Definitely. Let me ask you really quick, is there anything you feel that you still have a struggle in when it comes to this?
When it comes, it's kind of like I'm not gonna lie. Like sometimes, like I might get a little rusty when I haven't performed like a spoken word or a rap in a while, and like should I perform this? Like it's been a minute since I performed this, but like it may be something like older of like my catalog or whatever, and I'm like thinking to myself, and I'm like, you know what, Jay Swan, just go with it, yo, just do it, just do it, just do it,
Mhm. Mhm.
just do it, just like what Nike says, just do it, and do never question your ability as a poet. If they like it, they like it. If they don't like it, oh well, they still heard it. I
Mhm.
mean, you're gonna have good performances. You're gonna have bad performances. It's just the way it is. Like but the good thing is about it. I remember more of my good performances than like the performances that were bad. So like, hey, you
Mhm.
know,
Mhm. And
and,
you know,
and I yeah, and I don't think I had that too many bad performances either.
yeah, yeah,
It takes
yeah.
a whole lot to go
You
up on
know,
stage. It takes a whole lot.
right. Right. It does. It really does. And you are your own worst critic. So what you're calling a bad performance to the audience actually may not have been. And when it comes to poetry or rapping, you know the next line, but the crowd doesn't.
Yeah,
So
they don't
you
know it.
gotta keep going.
That's
You
why
just
it's
gotta
very
keep going.
that's why it's very important to like analyze your audience.
Hmm.
Like, how can I describe it? It's very important to analyze your crowd and like perform in front of a different audience. If you performing right in front of a group of full of women, you might want to do like a love or a sex poem. But if you in a room of performing in a room in front of like, let's see, nerds or a bunch of dudes, or like you want to do like a poem that I probably just did, like life is just a video game, or like something that's relatable. You want to be
Makes sense.
relatable to like the audience. Absolutely.
Always.
If that's the win right there.
Always.
Uh-huh.
Always.
When you do like
Natal.
a poem about heartbreak,
Mm,
easy.
yeah. Yeah. Now, we're gonna wrap it up and tell everyone how to follow you.
All right, ladies, gentlemen, free spirits, my swans, my swanettes. You can follow me on Instagram mainly is jswan922. JSWANN922. I'm also on YouTube as well. Just type in jswan, J.SWANN. I also go by on Facebook, jswan Michael. That's my Facebook name, jswan Michael. Michael's my middle name. That's why.
Gotcha.
See anything else? You can follow me on Spotify. You can find me on Tidal, the streaming platforms, Apple Music. I'm on every streaming platform. You can also go onto my Bandcamp. So I'm everywhere. Just you can even Google me. I'm there. So you gotta put yourself out there.
All
Just
right, got you,
Google me, and
got
you'll see a black guy with an afro.
you. All right, I want to thank you for coming on, Jay Swan. I really
And
appreciate it. It was great having you on. And if for anybody who maybe was not able to come on in the beginning, um, it will always be on YouTube, the Tyese Show. Thank you so much.
yeah,
It's been great again having you, Jay
thank
Simon.
you.
I appreciate you. We will be back next Thursday with another
Yeah.
illustrious guest. You all have a fantastic evening.